Good evening and welcome to the Pondwater Dave Show. I'm your host, Pondwater Dave. Joined, as always, is the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn.
Hello, hello.
And we have a special guest, my brother from another mother. Me and this guy go back 25 years, and we're still friends because I love him. Other than that, I couldn't tolerate him. This is my good friend, Russ Miller.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me, Dave and Amy.
Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Definitely.
It's really cool to finally be able to be on and to do one of these.
Now, me and you historically will talk for 3 hours when we do one of these. But me and Amy are huge FTR fans.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So we're gonna be off the air by 8 Eastern because we got wrestling to watch tonight.
That's right. I think if you can see my shirt, I fixed it. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to beat the Guns tonight, and they're going to be eight-time champions. And I'm ready to buy that new shirt tonight.
I'd like to see it. The very first time I ever saw them wrestle, and I'm trying to think if we saw them in Charlotte, or I know we saw Cash at least once, I think. But the first time I ever saw them wrestle as a team, the first words out of my mouth, I'm like, they wrestle just like Tully and Arn. First thing,
yeah.
And I'm like, they're almost exact, and especially Dax, he moves a lot like Arn because he's got that left hand and everything. He's, it's a real cool tribute, and the way they do the throwback to the Midnights and everything too.
I hope this isn't too controversial right off the gate because I love talent. I love the talent. I respect what they do.
Oh yes.
So I don't want to come off like I'm criticizing, and it may be. It's just that it seems like in today's tag team wrestling, building a match within the framework of the rules is not important as it is getting your stuff in.
Right.
And Cash and Dax, the majority of their matches are built within the framework of tag team wrestling.
Yes.
And it seems to be it's rapidly becoming a lost art. I mean, more and more, I notice referees don't bother to count anymore. They let them go with what they're doing. The tags, there's things that go on that, I mean, you're counting pins while the guy's still standing there. Like there's no effort to even get out of the ring.
Right.
I mean, gone are the days of traditional tag team wrestling. And I don't know that anybody's ever going to get the genie back in the bottle. But you can't help but respect the teams that still really try.
Right.
And I don't think they understand that, having your guy stand in the ring for 25 seconds while you come off the rope doing your triple, quadruple back Fernum Schnavitz move to try to impress somebody is not near as impressive as telling a great story within the rules and the framework of a tag team match.
And what's really funny about that is that you listen to the pop that FTR gets, people love them. Absolutely. And they love how they do it in the ring. And so it's almost like a juxtaposition. Like you said, it's like, we have AEW who, they are showcasing more high flying move creating, not so much about the story, I guess, as much. But then when FTR comes out, they get the loudest pop of all of them. So people do appreciate what they're doing. So I don't know if it's they appreciate FTR or if they appreciate that style or they just appreciate the hard work. They recognize hard work. They recognize good working.
I think the real fans see what FTR does and how they do it and how they make the match about the art of the tag team wrestling match. Whereas, like Dave said, a lot of these guys, they want to get their stuff in, they want to flip around and, do the little thing where they wheelbarrow up onto the rope to flip, to me, I get that, but it's got to be in the context and it's got to be within the rules and it's got to look like a tag team, like the Rockers or the Rock and Rolls. It's got to look that way and be built that way.
Old school wrestling still works, whether they believe it or not.
Oh, I agree.
I'm working for a promoter. His name's Gil Culkin. Gil Culkin ran the Mississippi Territory back in the day when he broke away from Watts. The Freebirds got their start with Culkin.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, I've worked the last two shows I've worked with him. We've had no dives, none, no low blows. It's instructed in the locker room, no low blows. We're not doing low blows. If we ever do, it'll mean something.
Right.
But they keep the action in the ring and they tell the stories in the ring. In old school wrestling, the crowd still reacts to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
No dives, and nobody left there feeling cheated because there wasn't dives.
Definitely.
Well, on our show, we start off playing trivia.
Okay.
And I think it's because Amy's real nice, but don't let her fool you. She's kind of a masochist with her trivia. See,
Okay.
Her goal is to make us look really, really stupid.
Okay.
Number one, that's not true.
I know.
Number two, Russ, he questions the authenticity of my trivia. It's like, I don't remember that. I don't think that's right. And then I have to go back and show him time after time clips. This is what, so
Well,
he's a little bitter. No.
Well, we had Efren on, and me and Efren both attended WrestleMania 17, and we both thought the attendance was 76,000. Now, how did we both remember
like
the wrong number?
68, I think.
Yeah,
right?
we know.
You're right, Russ. It was.
Also, I'd like to thank our audience that's rolling with us tonight on our YouTube channel.
With us.
We have Terry Weaver with us. We have Jared Wise, and Jared Wise says that holy cow, Gil Culkin is still around. That's an honor for you, Dave. It sure is. The first night I ever worked for him, I got to sit back and just listen to him for about 45 minutes telling me stories.
Oh, fun.
And I want to recommend that you can go to Amazon and get this book, the Mississippi Wrestling Territory, The Untold Story by Gil Culkin. This is a fun read, y'all.
Cool.
And you can get it on Amazon.
I have a hard time reading. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I got to jump out for a second. My dogs are making a racket. I got to go find out what it is. I'll be right back.
I understand.
I can. So if they're going crazy, I can hear them.
Well, come on. We're trying to run a professional operation here, Russ.
Well, I did something just to kind of give you and our fans out there. I did something a little bit different on the trivia. And so, because,
well, she got me Stacy Keebler.
Oh, Lord. You got a good woman there.
I am.
Which one, me or Stacy?
I'm you all the time. You, Stephanie. Promise.
Love you, Amy.
I did something a little bit different with the trivia because we did WrestleMania in California trivia last week, and so I knew we were going to be talking about the our predictions and stuff. So I did something a little bit different. So I hope everyone likes it. You can let me know what you think of it when the time comes.
Well, all right. Russ is back.
Yay!
Sorry
okay.
about that.
That's okay. What I was just telling everybody, we're doing something a little bit different.
Yes, Mike. 100% agree with Mike. Mike, thank you for being here tonight.
Yes. I'm going to give you, we're doing April birthday trivia. Okay. And so I'm going to give you clues about a person whose birthday is in April, and it is a wrestler. So I don't want you to think that I just picked some people. Okay. And so, okay, the first one is this wrestler was born in Bannock, Michigan on April 24th. Okay. His father was a Greco-Roman wrestling midweight champion in his native country and introduced him to the sport as a young boy. He made his professional wrestling debut at the age of 17. He was an AWA and NWA World Heavyweight Champion. At the age of 21, he defeated Everett Marshall and became the youngest world heavyweight champion ever? Any ideas? He was the first wrestler to defend the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Japan. With his last public match happening in 1990 at the age of 74,
Luthez.
You got me, Russ. I was about to
Yeah.
say it.
he has the distinction of having wrestled in 7 different decades. He was president of the Cauliflower Alley Club from 1992 to 2000, and he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as an inaugural member of the Legacy Wing. You are correct. It is Luthez, and I believe it was April 24th, like 1916. So
I had no idea.
I didn't know he won the AWA belt.
That threw me
Yes.
because I did not know Luthez was AWA, but then she started.
I didn't remember that either.
Then the other facts I knew about Thez were coming in, so you taught us something tonight.
he actually won, I believe that was the first one he won, AWA.
I think that was the Midwest version of the world title that branched off when he became the world champion in the NWA.
Could have been.
It
I
might
remember
have
right.
been.
And
If-
me and Russ we're well-oiled machine, Amy.
Okay. Oh Lord, are y'all? Hey, I like it. Where's the other one? Where you 6-man?
He's
Where's the
playing
other dude?
poker.
He's at a poker tournament tonight.
Who is it? Who is the 6? Who's the second one? Third one? I mean,
Mike Page.
Yep.
Mike Page. I like it. He's at a poker tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
He played-
He'll
that's
have to
why
go
his
Those
gimmick
along.
poker
name is-
guys.
That's why his gimmick name is Pocket Aces Page.
Yeah.
Interesting.
His
That's
wrestling gear gear has cards on it.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Not that he can fit
I
into
like
it anymore, but you know.
And Russ had a 6-man titles made.
I love it.
Yeah, over
Hey,
last
that's
summer
pretty
it was
sweet.
made.
Speaking of Russ, do you know on this day 9 years ago, you paid way too much money for us to have a drink?
Oh, God.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Oh.
it popped up on my memories. We were at Wrestlemania at I don't know what number
30.
it was.
That was in New Orleans.
30 in New Orleans. And I went down that day for the Hall of Fame and access to hang out with Russ
Mm-hmm.
because I only lived 3 hours from New Orleans. And we got
And you made
down
new
there
friends that day too.
and we went to access and there was a little bar out there and Russ said, "I'm gonna get us a drink." And he ordered two whiskeys and whiskey
Two
and
double
Cokes,
Crown and Cokes.
and they charged him $35 a drink.
Oh my gosh.
Is that what it was? I thought it was $16 for that. Maybe I don't remember.
No, it was 30. It was 35 for
32.
both drinks.
Was
35
it?
for both drinks.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was 16 or 18 bucks or 17.50, something like that. And I just turned to him and we started laughing. I'm like, "What is that?" And he's just like, "I can't do that." I go, "Oh hell no!" He poured it. We're drinking it.
I can't do
We
that.
chugged him before we went in.
Oh, that's funny. I like that. I do want to let you all know that it was he defeated Everett Marshall to become the American Wrestling Association World Heavyweight Championship.
What
That
year
was
was
the-
that?
1937.
Okay, that was before Vern Gagne's AWA because Gagne's AWA started like thinking 60.
Yes.
Okay, so that was the
But-
predecessor.
Yes.
Hey,
the
Mike,
predecessor.
Bruce has my number. I don't know why he hadn't called.
I
All
don't know why
right.
people are so mad at that. I don't get it, but
It was funny because when that happened, my phone started blowing up. I got
mine too.
several texts, tweets, and I got so tickled by that. And I was on with doing a watch party, and I told him, I said, "Hey, y'all, hang on, I got to go." What we got next, Amy? You
All
gotta
right.
keep us on track.
Oh, yes, that's right. This wrestler shares a birthday with our favorite referee, Pondwater Dave. He was born Schuler Andrews on April 2nd, 1983 in Los Angeles, California. His wrestling debut was June 2002 as a masked wrestler in Revolution Pro. He has wrestled in multiple promotions, ROH, TNA, CZW, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and most currently AEW. He was ranked 38th out of the top 500 single wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 2022. He was the inaugural AEW Tag Team Champion with Frankie Kazarian and has held the TNT Championship twice. His cousin is Brandy Rhodes.
Oh, that's Scorpio Sky.
Yeah.
That it is Scorpio Sky.
I did not know we shared a birthday.
Yes, you sure do. He's a tad younger, but he just turned 40 this year.
Mm.
All
I feel
right.
so bad for that Dante Martin kid that got hurt. I mean, the spots are getting more and more dangerous, and I saw that. I can only watch it once.
Broke my
Yes.
heart, man.
And he just got back from an injury. Like
Both
he's
of them
not,
have.
yeah. Oh yeah, both the brothers. So it's just, yes, it is very
That's a year. Easy.
crazy to see these moves and and again, like you were talking about, Dave, what exactly does that bring to the match? Nothing. And like you said, now he's probably out for a year. I mean, his whole entire foot turned backwards, basically.
Yeah, it was bad.
On live, we all got to see that.
And this is just a rib, but thank Mick Foley. Anyway.
All right. This wrestler was born in Spring Lake Heights, New Jersey on April 11th, 1972. He debuted in 1987 on the New Jersey Independent Circuit after receiving training at the Monster Factory.
Can I go ahead and guess?
Yeah,
That's Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yep.
that is incorrect.
Oh,
That is not Bam Bam Bigelow. Very close.
okay.
He spent time in Smoky Mountain Wrestling and WWF promotion, but he is most known as a wrestler in ECW. He was an ECW World Tag Team Champion 3 times, 2 times with Spike Dudley, and 1 time with Masato Tanaka. I hope I said that right. He passed away on April 12th, 2016, a day after his 44th birthday from an apparent heart attack.
Balls Mahoney?
It is Balls Mahoney.
He's been having trouble too during that, yeah.
Let's say his birth name was Jonathan Reckner. Hopefully I said that right. But he went by a few different ring names like Boo Bradley and Santa Claus. All right. So do you like the different, kind of change? Do you like this kind of?
I like it.
Like it's a little bit different, especially whenever, like I said, we already did trivia, in a way, about WrestleMania. So I wanted to do something different. All righty. This woman's wrestler, shares a birthday with Hall of Fame wrestler Lita. She was born April 14th, 1988, and is of Russian descent. Prior to wrestling, this woman trained in MMA and competed for Invicta Fighting Championship in the women's featherweight division. She debuted in WWE Evolution, or she debuted at WWE Evolution on October 28th, 2018, along with fellow Glendale Fighting Club member Jessamine Duke. She is currently active on the AEW roster, even though her husband is active on the NXT roster. Do you know who this is?
I don't, but Jared Weiss does. And if he's right, I'm going to be amazed.
Zelina Vega?
Layla Gray.
No.
No?
Oh.
No.
Oh, it's No, it's the one that can't. Oh.
Did we tell you who she's married to? Would that help?
I don't even need to know. I know her name. I know she's the blonde with the nose.
She is blonde.
Like she's been hit for real.
She does have a nose.
No, I'm trying to think of her name.
Starts with an M. Does that help you?
I know her. They had her on. I think she went after Jade not too long ago.
Mm-hmm. It's
Um,
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
do we tell you?
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Marina Shafir.
Sharif. Yep, Mike finally came through with it. Thank you, Mike.
Good. I like when y'all are stumped. That was fun.
I could see her.
Yes.
Yeah,
But if Layla Gray
remember
would have
her
been right, I would have been so impressed because she is a goddess.
I know you definitely
And
like
if she was a
her.
badass and a goddess,
I really thought when I mentioned Jessamine Duke, I thought maybe that might because it was like Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir,
well,
Shayna Baszler.
the Russian descent should have hit it for me.
Well, that's true. But I thought maybe that would be because, they kind of had that whole versus the horseman kind of thing.
Yeah, I
but
knew that.
Shayna
And Marina
Baszler-
Shafir, I knew she was a legitimate badass.
Yes, and she is married to Roderick Strong. All right, this is the last one. So we just did 5, so I think this was
Okay.
kind of good. This wrestler was born April 23rd, 1984 in Seabrook, Maryland. He played football at Syracuse and was drafted in the 5th round of the 2006 NFL Draft. He played professional football for approximately 6 years before he began training as a wrestler at the World Wrestling Alliance's WWA4 wrestling school out of Atlanta. He made his wrestling debut February 22nd, 2014 for Dragon Gate USA, working alongside the Bravado brothers in a bodyguard role. He has worked in a multitude of promotions like ROH, New Japan, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling / Impact. He was named the 2015 Rookie of the Year by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. He was ranked number 21 of the top 500 singles in the PW 500 in 2022. He is currently active on the Impact roster, and he is a former Impact World Champion.
Moose.
It is Moose. Good
job.
job. What
And I don't
gave
even
it
watch
away?
Impact. I don't even watch Impact.
Which one gave it away?
The football player.
Just being a football player?
I mean, when you said Dragon Gate, I would have never guessed that Moose went through Dragon Gate.
That was where he started. Yep, Dragon Gate.
As soon as football and Impact, I kind of had it right there.
Only be a few choices.
Let's see.
All right.
3.
Hey, well, thank you I hope you all enjoyed that. Let me know, our fans out there, the feedback. If
I got
like
one.
I said,
You
got one.
I've got one.
Okay.
She was born April 5th, 1986.
Charlotte.
Thank you.
I purposely did not put Charlotte or Terry Gordy because I was like, I want him to get past the first, the first.
See, I told you, Russ.
question.
He sets me up to make me look bad.
I mean, I can't. I'm not doing softballs here, right? I'm like hard hitting. I want him to really think about it. So I don't think those were super hard.
She said Charlotte before I could say, and she was the greatest of all time.
I knew as soon as he said April. As soon as he said April 5th, I cannot wait to hear what you think about their match. So whenever you're ready, Pondwater.
All right. Well, we're going to just kind of, we're not going to do a traditional review. We're going to kind of just kick it around and talk about what we liked. Russ, tell us, what was your favorite WrestleMania moment this year?
The favorite WrestleMania moment?
Yes. What was your favorite WrestleMania moment? Let's start there.
Well, I think the pop of the night for me was obviously Sammy and KO going over, but I thought 2 matches that really stole the show on obviously night 1 was Logan and Seth and Charlotte and Rhea. I was glad to see Rhea, get her nod. I think we all kind of had that feeling, and I don't like Charlotte as the good guy. I like her as the bad guy, but you had to have that role with Rhea and, get that win back, and made Rhea look like $1 million, and Charlotte was very proud of that. You could see after the fact. that she was proud of that Rhea was on top now. And I thought it was a great match. It was hard hitting and everything.
Rhea's come a long way since their last match.
Oh yeah,
at the COVID WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I mean, Charlotte when they put Charlotte down to NXT, she had a match with Bianca Belair that really exposed just how green Bianca still was.
Right.
And it really did the same thing with Rhea at the time. So putting that experiment with Charlotte doing NXT for a little bit again, it helped those ladies.
Yes.
But at the time, I felt like it exposed them, and both of them have come so far away. I mean,
I think it affected Charlotte. It affected Rhea more than it affected Belair. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think, like you said, Rhea knew she kind of got exposed, and
Belair wasn't on the card. Belair wasn't high enough on the card yet, where the expectations were that she should beat Charlotte. But everybody thought at the time that was Rhea's. That Rhea was going to get elevated at that point.
Right.
So that's my perception.
And I thought Logan and Seth, I mean, Logan brought it. I mean, he's a great athlete.
He's so good.
He reminds me, and he's not as tough, obviously, as Kurt Angle, but just the way he adapts and learns and does things. That was Angle, man. He picked it up like that, and he's just a fan. And Bad Bunny too, the next night. Just they love it so much.
I think we're going to see Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico on the next pay-per-view.
Oh, definitely. I think overall, first night was better than the second night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, matches wise,
definitely.
And just like you said, I thought I got a cough. I'm sorry. I think my favorite match really was. It was really hard to pick from that first night, but Charlotte and Rhea was just a really good match. My husband and I actually rewatched it the other day because he had fallen asleep, and he had heard so much about it, and he wanted to watch it.
Oh,
well, he's not a wrestling fan, so he was like, yeah.
Charlotte and Rhea was my favorite match of the night. I don't want to sound, unfortunately for me, I can't watch wrestling without watching through the eyes of a ref.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I got taken out of it right there at the end. I knew that the finish was on us because Rhea was outside the ring on the apron and the referee wasn't counting her.
Mm.
And then Charlotte got dropped on the top of the ring post and she looked dead laying there face down on the ring post.
Right.
And she didn't get checked and the ref didn't check her.
Right.
And
little details.
That detail. And I mean, I'm not criticizing. It sounds like I'm criticizing. Nobody else noticed it. And if I wouldn't have pointed out, maybe nobody else noticed it. That's just looking through the eyes of the ref. And I look and try to learn because when I referee matches, I try to stay in it. And so don't take this Jessica Carr's a tremendous referee. So I don't want anybody to think I'm crapping on her. I'm just saying that's through the eyes of a referee. That's just a referee's observation. And the reason that Charlotte and Rhea hit for me more than Kevin and Sammy is because there was way too many false finishes in that match for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they got to a point like just shoot him because I mean, what are they not going to kick out of?
Right. I thought, I don't know if it's just because WrestleMania night 1 went so well. I think a big thing about night 2 is the ending. I think that probably was a heavy pill for some people to swallow because I do think a lot of people thought that was the night, he should have won. And and you saw it everywhere. You saw it in the stands. I mean, people were very heavily divided on who should have won that match and where this was going. And so I think that might be part of the reason why 2 is not as has a little bit more of a downfall. I thought Rhea and Charlotte, like, their selling was exceptional. Like, They absolutely they did. It looked realistic. Like if someone was hitting you and you're tired, you're not like it wasn't like a fake flop on the ground. It was,
Right.
I mean, it was. I mean, I think I could watch that match again and again. Like that was just
Yeah.
really
It was a good match.
superb. It was. It was
And-
superb. It really
and-
was.
And the women's matches are normally much better for selling than the men's matches.
Yes.
Yes.
The women don't get lost in it. I mean, the women are there from bell to bell, and they completely understand the importance of selling.
Yes.
It's not only that too, but I think with just like in a lot of sports, the male ego has a lot to do with it.
Mm.
So whereas women can put, they may hate each other in real life, but they can put it aside to do business. A lot of guys can't do that because they think this guy's going to get more than this guy.
Right.
Women can be catty with each other, but I think when it comes to like, okay, we got to do this, let's go, they can do that. Guys have a harder time with that, I think. Just like with the finale of the match, that's Daniel Bryan all over again. Everybody wanted it and wanted it right now.
Yeah.
Well, this is wrestling. You don't get that. What happened? Dave was saying it earlier. They would build Rock and Roll versus the Russians for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great, and you never knew until it happened.
Right.
You can't drag it out too long, but I don't think they did. I think they did the right thing.
I love that Roman retained.
Yeah.
I wanted Roman to retain. And the only thing that I would have liked better than Roman retaining is the Usos costing Roman the championship and installing Cody as the new leader of the bloodline. Because I thought him and Paul Heyman had some stuff going leading up to it. That would have been, I would have loved, because I need Cody to be a heel.
Yeah.
I need him to be a heel. He looks like a Bond villain to me. He
Right.
needs to be a heel. I think Cody's a better heel. But I needed Roman to retain. I love it. And how you get upset about it? It took 4 people to beat him.
Right.
Cody did not come out of that match looking weak.
Nope.
It took 4 people to beat him. And then they got mad because he got his butt whooped on Raw the next night because he said, anybody that tag teams with you can't have a title shot. And here comes Brock because Brock can't have a title shot anyway.
Right.
So it's a little predictable to me. I knew he was going. I said, Cody's going to catch you at 5 before the night's over. The only thing I would have done different is I would have had Roman react laughing about it like they were in on it instead of looking like they were completely surprised by it.
Right.
Right.
Well,
I think that's great because now I'm kind of feeling sorry for Cody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now the chase is on because up until now, Cody came in. He had a great match against Seth. He hurt himself. Still had a great match against Seth. Came back at the Royal Rumble 30th. Like, okay, this is a formality. He's going to WrestleMania, but he must be contractually obligated to win the championship. That's how I felt. I mean, there was nothing to it. It was like, we got to let Cody do this.
Mm-hmm.
If Cody would have come in the Royal Rumble like maybe at 3rd and ran the Royal Rumble and just impressed us with an awesome performance at the Rumble, I might have been a little more excited about it. But now I'm excited for Cody because he's the underdog now. And how could you get upset that he's going to get to work with Brock Lesnar?
Right.
Well, and there's one thing that somebody mentioned to me the other day. Now, baby, he's got hard times.
Yes.
Hard times on Cody Rhodes, baby. And so
this is a good thing.
He's got the mountain to climb now. Now it's really a mountain, truthfully. Now you have that build. You can't give them, like, everybody's so mad because they thought that's what they were giving them. And that's not what they got.
And quit worrying about who's running the show.
Right.
Enjoy the show.
Exactly.
If Vince starts doing creative, how do y'all know Vince hadn't been doing creative? Triple H is getting all this, but he's getting all this praise. And I think Triple H has been running it, but what if? But I'm not ready to say that. Oh, you can tell Vince is back. If it gets to where we can't watch it, turn it off.
Right.
But quit worrying about who's running it and worry about the show. And right now, I don't know how you cannot, as a Cody Rhodes fan, not be excited because Cody's down but not out.
Right.
Well, I am very intrigued. We talked about this on our preview a little bit. Um, what would happen if the Usos retained and Roman lost, or vice versa? Roman won and the Usos lost. So, and we're seeing that. We're kind of seeing that, that it's kind of tearing off a little bit with the Usos. Obviously, Roman is shunning them a little bit, with the whole little thing on Raw.
Yeah.
And so, so again, though, but that's good. We're seeing that, again, the bloodline is not a straight line. There are many, many, little tertiaries going off. And I like that. I like that, it's not just Cody Roman. There's all kinds of different fingers, because now what does this mean? When are Jay and Jimmy going to realize that Roman is uh, disappointed or pushing them off or saying that, not appreciative of what they did try to do, so again, that's going to be interesting because I think a lot of people are waiting for Jay, to fight with Roman in some capacity, and so it'd be, like I said, it's going to be interesting. It continues, and I like that.
And what do you do with Brock? Now, Brock can go either way. He can be the bodyguard. He can be the bat. He can be the guy that steps in. He can be there. Yeah. That opens up a whole new ball game for him too.
I'm kind of interested in his motivation because of Roman and Solo. Like, what's going on? They didn't laugh like that. They were in on it.
Right.
So what's Brock's motivation for attacking Cody?
Or did Wise Man have something to do with it?
But it's,
and especially that's another one of those little fingers that kind of go this way because Paul, obviously used to be the advocate for Brock, and Roman gets a little jealous about that. He's made comments, and so now,
and also,
will Roman if this is what's happened, will Roman appreciate if Paul Heyman stepped in and discussed it with Brock? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's just that all of that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that kind of plays out.
And let's keep in mind that WWE, first and foremost, is a very successful business. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's no longer owned by McMahon. It's the first time in 70 years McMahon has not owned it.
Well, that's not final yet. They got till the end of the year to do that.
But I mean, it's a $21.3 billion company now with UFC. Mm-hmm. But there's money in Roman Reigns becoming the champion for 1,000 days.
Definitely.
I mean, and all you people that are pissed off, half of y'all are going to buy the 1,000-day merch. Don't act like you're not.
I will. I'll buy something. I wish they would sell the red necklace. If I could get one of them, I would love that because I think they're cool.
Yeah, and Roman said in the press conference that he wants somebody to step up.
Yeah,
Hunter said it. Hunter said that they want somebody to step up.
I rubbed off
and
on
be
him.
Next. So I'm just saying that things aren't as bad as the Cody fans are making them.
Right.
And and if I'm honest, I don't want Vince calling the shots.
Right.
I don't, because I think
it's time to step away. I mean, again,
I think Triple H has a better mind for it. I think Bruce still has a tremendous mind for it.
Yes.
I think that, but when Vince is there, you're going to do what you got to do to keep your job.
Right.
Right.
People that don't agree with him are gone.
Yeah, there's no fear of that with Triple H. Hunter knows and has that vision where Vince rules by fear.
Right.
And that's not always the best way. It's not 1979, 1984. It's not that time now. There's so much more money, and I think that's what Triple H sees. Vince knows that too, but it's still Vince's show, and he wants to run it how he wants to run it.
Right.
And sometimes that's not always the best way.
Was there any match at WrestleMania that you all thought should have gone a different way? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know.
I think Dominic should have won. I think Dominic should have won. It would have been his Brock beating Undertaker moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see how he's run with his time in prison.
Yeah.
And then you could add that I retired Rey Mysterio. I
Right.
mean, even if he didn't retire, the narrative that he, I
Right.
mean, it's the man that beat Rey Mysterio on his Hall of Fame weekend at the biggest WrestleMania. I mean, there's so much that you could have done with Dom winning that match.
Right.
And it's just, I like it. I mean, but Dominic Mysterio is probably, it's hard to say he's not the best heel they have right now.
Oh, he's the one that, boy, they don't like him, let me tell you.
I mean, he is. And it's the stuff he's doing with the teardrop.
Yes.
Talking
And he
about
plays
his
that good
time.
chicken heel really
Yes.
Yeah.
Leaving at the Hall of Fame, like walking out of his dad, with his dad's speech. I just love. I mean, like
when
I
they-
said,
good. When Rhea got it, or when what's her name got him up,
yeah.
and he looked right in the camera and went, "Mommy!" Boom! I love that. I was popping for that big time.
I
kind
agree
no,
with Mike on this.
I think Asuka should have won too.
I
That
do
was a
too.
decent match too.
I just think that they're, for some reason, they will not pull the trigger. I don't know if it's because of her English. I don't understand why they don't pull the trigger on Asuka. I thought Asuka should have beat Charlotte in New Orleans.
I do too.
Nobody was more shocked than me. I mean, I was cheering for Charlotte. I was into it. The crowd around me was for
We were texting
for
that
Asuka.
night too.
And but I fully expected for them to mess with me when the match was over,
Mhm.
that Asuka's streak was going to be intact. So when she tapped, I lost it and became really
Right.
obnoxious.
I do think I think that Belair would have been. Oh, you're 2 years older than Asuka, Terry. I did not know that. That's interesting. I do wish Asuka would have won. I think that she could be in uh, the chase for any of the baby faces could be good, especially since she's brought out this new, or no, it's not really new, but just the it's not Scary Clown. I don't know what she calls.
I think an opportunity was missed with Muda in the building.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Missed, no
true.
pun intended. But
Uh,
I think you could have Muda come down there and help screw Bianca out of it. And then you could have, because nobody really wants to hate Asuka right now.
No.
right. No,
I mean,
that's
she's
true.
a heel. She's kind of a heel.
But she's impressive and
not.
she's a good wrestler.
So Muda coming down and spraying Bianca, maybe Asuka pulls the ref and gets that. I think there was so much you could have done there, and the women's division needs a definitive heel, and you could have made Asuka very hated doing that, because, man, I love Bianca Belair. I love her, and she could have got her belt back in the fun. She could have chased her to SummerSlam and got revenge.
What do you all think about? I think Finn Balor should have won against Edge, and not just because he was the demon, but I just feel like Judgment Day itself needs. I mean, needs win, needs that kind of like gravitas of
Well, you beat the demon. The demon's not supposed to lose.
Right.
Right.
But let's
right.
I wonder if that was
can we take a minute
got
to
hurt
talk
so bad.
about that Finn is a man and a half.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He is a man and a half. He took that shot to the head. And the fact that somebody came to ringside and put staples in his head so he could continue.
Right.
That he could continue.
Yeah, they gave him a little bit of lidocaine and stapled him up. And he finished.
I bet they didn't give him any lidocaine.
They did. They talked about it. I read it.
Yeah, they did. That was.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, your adrenaline's going so hard then too. You might not have needed it, but it takes away that, God forbid it starts hurting really. I mean, that was a nasty gash.
Yes, it was.
But even if I wasn't in the camp of F Edge, then, now, and forever, I wanted Finn to win. I think Finn should have won.
I like Finn. I do.
Because
I like the heel Finn too.
Hey, because it's okay for these guys that are on their last legs and doing their last lap to put over talent.
I think that was. I think they probably, if I read right and I kind of, Edge was like looking around differently at WrestleMania. I think obviously nobody knows. I think that's his last one.
Well, does he think he's better than The Undertaker? Because you can't say that The Undertaker putting Brock over to end the streak, did not do something. I mean, put Brock on another. Brock was already on a different level, but I mean, it really put Brock. And then we had to hear that he's the man that ended the streak.
Mm-hmm.
That was a contribution that really, really helped the future business.
You know, and we were there when he lost. You know, and
I wasn't.
The crowd. I mean, dead silent. And I don't think I got a picture of it, but they put up 22-0 first, and then they changed it.
Oh,
all of us were like, what happened? And it was obvious when Taker got up and was stumbling that something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, none of us knew. And then he walked out, so we didn't know how bad it was. But, you know, Taker, you know, he's another, like Dave just said about Finn, man and a half. You know, you go and, you know, Taker knows that he's not a spring chicken anymore. And
right.
And, you know, we all respect The Undertaker.
Yeah.
But I do think Finn needed that win more than Edge did. Regardless, I don't know if Edge's last or whatever.
Needed it.
Yes, I do. Yes, Finn with the Judgment Day. Yes, Rhea won, but the guys are not showcased. Unfortunately, like you said, Dominic is a chicken shit heel.
Yeah,
and he's getting smacked around by his mom, and you know, and Finn and Damian Priest. I mean, Damian Priest is going to get beat by Bad Bunny if they go to Puerto Rico. I mean, that's not, you know, we know that's going to be happening.
There's no way that Damian Priest gets beat by Bad Bunny. That's going to be Dom.
Yeah.
You think so? You think it'll be Dom?
Dom's taking the pin in that match.
Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah. Well, whoever, but you know what I'm saying? Judgment Day is not going to win.
But, you know,
like,
but here's the thing, too. If it's Judgment Day.
Screw Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico. Go ahead. I dare y'all.
I would do it.
Get some of that Ric Flair Jack Vino heat.
Woo, Jack Vino, baby.
Heat is life, baby. Do it. Show us how big a boy you are.
Well, they may. You never know.
You have a real tear there because that's what would happen.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
I think
really.
What should have been the match, you know, and I feel horrible because it's a bad injury, was Shane O'Mac coming back and trying to do the, you know, it was when he went down and grabbed his leg. I mean, if you just watch the way his leg twisted, I'm like, oh. And then when I saw everybody in the ring and everybody kind of stopped, give Snoop Dogg credit, him and The Miz, because
they kept
saved
going.
It. Yeah.
Snoop's a pro, man.
Yeah. And Miz was
now he's been high for 40 years. So, I mean, he's not stressed.
That was a horrible
he's not going to panic.
That was a horrible beaver's elbow, but it was good, you know, and when they stopped talking about Shane, they didn't say anything else about him.
No, they took the camera off of him.
Yep, they took the camera away. I'm like, something just like when Finn Balor got hurt. They had the camera on Edge.
Well, you knew when you saw the blood splatter on the mat, you knew Finn was hurt. I mean, you knew it was bad.
Yeah, it was very deceiving with the paint. Like you couldn't really tell. And then you saw the blood.
Yeah, but that immediate blood splatter on that mat wasn't.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know,
definitely.
As much as we all love, you know, me and Dave, you know, we've known over the belts, and, you know, Dave being the referee and I did a little bit. The injuries, that's why even like when I'm at work, and I work in a hospital, so I see a lot of stuff. When they call this business fake, I get so mad. And people don't understand why I get so angry.
It hurts too bad to be fake.
Yep.
I know.
I tell them all. I'll get you in the ring. I'll take you to my friend's thing. You get on all fours, and we'll take a plastic chair, and we'll smack you across the back one time. You'll never call it fake again.
I think Pondwater, we need to bring Russ back and interview him, because I want to know about what he does at the hospital. What does he mean he used to ref? Like, I have all these questions for him.
Oh, come on, Amy. Russ is a bitch, for real.
Russ is a bitch. Russ is Steph's bitch. That's right.
That's right. That's fine.
That's all.
I do not want to get in the middle of that. I will say.
I know. She loves me. What can I say? I'm not sure she loves me. I think she feels sorry for me.
Am I the only one? Is anybody else picking up that? I think that my wife wants to be co-host. We're getting them run-ins on regular, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Hey, I'm out there cooking your bird. You can let me.
The guys.
Ask you a question.
That's true.
Go ahead. Ask me. This is riveting podcasting.
Do I need to turn it over? Okay.
I've already turned it over. It wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Heck yeah. Oh, sorry.
I put a bone-in turkey breast on the pellet grill earlier, and it wasn't ready before the podcast started. So I had to tag her in to go check the temp on it.
That's what I was doing when I told you. I said I'm in the middle of prepping everything, getting it all ready. It's in the oven, and I just gotta do the green beans when I go back down there.
Yeah, I tell everybody I'm a grill master now. Pellet grills is like grilling for dummies. You cannot screw up on a pellet
I
grill.
think I'm gonna buy one of those next.
You set it and forget it. I mean, it's that. I mean, I don't even go out to eat. I don't even go out for steak anymore. Why am I going to go pay somebody $35 for a steak when the one I cook is better to me?
Yep.
I mean, we the friends that we used to go to the steakhouse with on regular. Now we do what we call supper club, and we all go to each other's houses and we'll grill steaks and play phase 10. There's just no point in going out. So I mean, I pretty much go out for seafood or Italian now, but I won't. I'm not ever going to go out to a steakhouse again, probably.
Well, that makes sense. Do you like it? Like just in general, I figure WrestleMania is always going to be 2 nights at this point. We'll never.
I love it that way.
You do love it that way.
I do, but I don't.
Well, it cuts both ways because Saturday night's the show to be on. Because even last year, the Sunday night show was not to me as good as the Saturday night.
Right.
I mean, I was in attendance on Saturday night. I was so glad I didn't go on Sunday night.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that happens a lot? Like, I just assumed, I'm thinking myself, if I went to WrestleMania, I would go 1 and 2, like I would go both nights. So do you think most people just pick one? I'm just curious. Do you think most people just pick a night or they go to both nights?
I think a lot of people go to both nights, but I think if you're given a choice, like if you're on a budget and you can't buy both nights, I would be shocked if you didn't buy night one. And then some people may not be able to get off work on Sunday. I mean, on Monday.
On Monday to come back, wherever it may be. That's true.
I did a watch party. On ad-free shows. And I'm going to tell you that if I'd have watched WrestleMania night 2 in my chair, I wouldn't have stayed awake through it. If I wouldn't have been on that watch party. Doing the watch parties makes me watch the whole thing.
Right.
But I mean, night 2 wouldn't have kept me. I wanted to. I can't think of anything on night 2. I'm trying to think. Lesnar and Omos I was looking forward to seeing, and I was kind of disappointed in that. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But other than Roman and Cody, I can't tell you anything that. Well, Bianca and Asuka. But I still think night 1 was very much superior to night 2. But I'd rather have 2 nights than going to that 7-8 hour marathon that they put on.
Right. Well, do you think they should have? I mean, because we had, they had like a 4-way men and women's match. There are some matches that didn't necessarily have to be on there. Do you like the fact that they have all these different matches? Like it could be 8 hours.
Yeah.
No, I think it ought to be the good old days that the best of the roster gets to be on WrestleMania.
Right.
The best of the roster, mix in a couple celebrities like they do. But now we're in a world where everybody's entitled to a WrestleMania payoff.
Right. Well, and 2, we have multiple belts. Even if you just said all the championships to be, determined, back in the day, like you said, you're looking at 5, if that, and that would be, your world heavyweight title, your intercontinental, your tag team, and your women's championship, and that's, they didn't even have the women's championship for a while. So again, you're only looking at like 3 or 4 championships. Now we have a multitude of them.
Right.
So, if you, even if you
good.
said that,
it's good everybody gets on there, but then it's bad because
it waters it down.
But doing it 2 nights makes it better. But you can't. I mean, I even mentioned it last week that I turned off the TV and went to bed the night that Drew McIntyre and Sheamus were going to wrestle to see who got to go after Gunther. Right. My wife said, "You're not going to watch it," and I said, "I'm going to watch the 3-way match they're going to have at WrestleMania."
Exactly.
Stevie Wonder could have seen it coming, but they couldn't make the decision to have a one-on-one matchup.
Right.
For the Intercontinental title. They wanted to get them both in there.
Yep.
And you can't tell me that, the women's fatal 4-way tag team match
Right.
So, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 women got to work that night.
Mm-hmm.
16 men got to work that night.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. But you could have done the same thing with Andre the Giant, with an Andre the Giant Battle Royal and a Mae Young Battle Royal. Or,
Mm-hmm.
you could have done the same thing with Battle Royal and put just as many in there.
Well, the men's battle royal, the Andre the Giant battle royal, is on the SmackDown the Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been demoted to SmackDown.
Which
Mhm.
I detest that. I think it should be at WrestleMania.
Pre-show
just
at
me.
least.
Yeah.
Put on pre-show if you don't.
And then make it mean something. You get something if you win, I mean, like you get the trophy, but like, do you get a title shot? Do you get to do something at SummerSlam? I mean, like you said, make there some kind of prestige that goes with it. I mean, we've had some good winners.
Well,
Over the
Bobby
past.
Lashley won, and that was a guy, he should have been on the main show, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
I think it was, but I think that's because him and Bray were supposed to do something, right? And that just got all wonky.
Yeah, but you could have. Why couldn't we've had a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship?
Well, no, that's true. I'm not
why
saying
couldn't
that.
we've had? Why couldn't we've had him? He was the United States champion. He has heat with Austin Theory.
Sure.
Why couldn't we've had a 3-way? Why couldn't they just plugged him in a 3-way with Cena and Theory? Which first
I'm
off,
upset Mustafa Ali wasn't on the show. That's what I'm worried about.
first off, let me say that John Cena is probably the best of us.
Mhm.
He is such a tremendous human being. They played that Make-A-Wish footage, talking about how he's done more wishes. And I was watching it on my phone at this point. We're on our way back from my daughter's house. We had a crawfish bowl, and we're in the Baskin-Robbins parking lot. My wife goes in to get me an ice cream cake because it was my birthday. And I'm watching it, and she gets in the car, and she looks at me, and I look at her, and I had like the tears were just they were ready to start. And she goes, "What is it?" I said, "He got the kids."
I know. I mean,
because the little Hulkster in the wheelchair got all over me.
He just did one. He was overseas filming, and he went to was it a family that escaped the Ukraine?
yes.
And got out, and he went up to the house, and they took him over there. He flew from, it was like 6 hours away, and he flew in and did the thing. I thought, I mean, who does that?
Exactly.
And then there was that little girl that was dancing with Bianca, the contortionist, and we find out that she lost her mom that
morning,
and still performed. Breaks your heart, man.
It does. And it also shows, I think, how the WWE has done a lot of good things. Like you said, that is a genuine smile on John Cena's face when he's looking at those kids. I mean, like you said, you don't do 600, Make-A-Wish and it just be.
Keep that in mind too when your butt gets all twisted about that Cody didn't get what you believe that he deserved.
Right.
It's not always about you guys. It's about the kids.
That's right.
They're making memories for kids. I'm 57 years old. It's not for me anymore.
Right.
It's just not. Hey, you think Tony Khan cares what I think?
Nope.
57 years old, he ain't booking that shit. That crap for me. I mean,
I am in the demographic, but not the male part.
So, just saying, not everything. It's kind of like the circus. It's the circus, and you might not like the clowns and you might not like the bearded lady, but you love the trapeze artist and you like the elephants and you like the guy that shoots himself out of a cannon. Not everything in the circus is for you, but that's why it takes place in 3 rings. Mm-hmm. There's something there. It's a little bit of everything for everybody. Right. But at the end of the day, the WWE's for the kids.
Yep.
Right.
They're making memories for children. And if you'll go to a live event and watch what goes on down around the ring, it's for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Live events will change your whole perspective. If you go to a live event, it's much different than watching it on TV.
Oh, yeah.
If you would have seen
the camera, and they're not always in character, and it's a lot of fun.
If you'd have seen Eric Rowan at a house show versus Eric Rowan on television, you'd be like, why isn't he like that on television? Eric Rowan was tremendous at house shows.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Lashley's tremendous at house shows. And then when he gets through wrestling, he spends 10 minutes, not during intermission, but he doesn't leave the ringside area until he's gone around and he shook hands and took pictures with every kid around there.
That's how Drew
I hadn't
was.
seen that
in
kind of
Florida.
I hadn't seen that kind of interaction since the 80s when the kids used to charge the ring and try to get autographs before the matches.
Uh-huh. Well, I've told Dave about it, but we took our son Aaron for his birthday to a house show in Cape Girardeau, which is fairly close to where we live. And they treated Aaron quite well. The ring announcer played a game with him. They gave him a shirt. He got an autograph signing from Seth and Roman. He had a sign that says, "I'm here for my birthday. Will you please sign?" And so he's got Bailey, Sasha. He's got every
That's pretty cool.
good guy. Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. He has everybody who was a baby face sign it, and we took pictures, and it was, like I said, really, really fun, really interactive. And like I said, you can tell John Cena is very happy with what he does. And so, sorry, I don't know how we got off on that, but
now I'm going to criticize Mr. Cena.
Okay.
If Eric Bischoff was in charge, Cena would have lost in 2 minutes because he had no tan.
He did not.
I've always criticized Cena's shoulder tackles as being weak, very weak shoulder tackles. But when he slapped the STF on both times, he could at least flex his arms like he's trying.
Right.
He just put his arms down, and it drove me crazy. And I'm not wanting to crap on Cena because I love Cena.
I do too.
And I'm going to say, though, I don't buy many wrestling T-shirts, but I'd buy that G.I. Joe Cena shirt.
Yeah.
And that was pretty nice, wasn't it?
And you wouldn't catch me dead in a pair of Nikes, but those Nikes he wore were pretty bad to the bone too.
Well, a lot of you see all the memes online about his hairline, and all this, and the fan. I'll tell you this, and I'm in the gym. We
ain't talking about anybody's hairline, Russ.
Well, I know, but you see the fans, and they all talk smack. Go to these shows and look at your average wrestling fan. They ain't got no need to be criticizing the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Sorry to say it that way, folks, but that's true. And most of them ain't never seen a gym in their life.
Steve Austin had a bald spot too, so he shaved it all off.
That's pretty much. Triple H, he was thinning. Shawn was thinning. They shaved theirs.
One of the greatest wrestlers, performers, spectacles, attractions, whatever you want to call him. He went bald too, brother.
He's bald? No.
Well, I think I know we talked about this on our preview. My anticipation for WrestleMania was way higher than I think it's been in a very long time. So, I was very interested in most of the matches and the different, the bloodline and how that was all going to work out. And it's interesting to see. Yeah, it's very interesting to see where it's going to go from here.
Yes.
Because I saw something that said that the next 2 or 3, so Backlash is in Puerto Rico.
Right.
And then the next pay-per-view after that is, I think, in England. Because they were talking about SummerSlam was basically kind of the next pay-per-view that was going to be in the U.S., so they're going to be doing some. I can't remember where the other one was.
They're doing one in Wales, I believe. Clash of the Castle.
Yes, but then there's a third one they're doing somewhere else.
King and Queen of the Ring are in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, I bet that's it. Because
Money in the Bank is in London. SummerSlam's in Detroit.
Yes, so it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do. Those are not places that they typically go. Right. Are they going to just expand and do something really big at SummerSlam when they're back in Detroit? Or are they, are we going to see some major things happen at the Saudi Arabia show or at Wales or or at Puerto Rico?
I think you're going to see Gunther. I think you're going to see Gunther lose in Wales.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's going to beat him?
Probably McIntyre.
or
You
Shayna.
think
Yeah, one of them two.
One of
One
them,
of
but
the
they'd
two.
be a huge pop for either one of them over there.
And dude, I'll tell you what, those three, that was a physical match.
Oh, yes.
Probably going to be and it may be a rematch. Maybe another 3-way rematch.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, but like the 3-way stuff, when you're at a big show like WrestleMania, the Intercontinental title means a lot to me. I don't like 3-ways for that belt. I don't like 3-ways for the world title at a main show.
3-ways are overdone.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
getting to a point where one-on-one matchups are a gimmick match.
Yeah. Well, just like in AEW, me and Dave and Mike, in our thread that we talk on, in AEW, everything is a faction and nobody comes to the ring by themselves. And
Right.
it just
I don't have a problem with factions though.
No, I don't have that either, but you don't need 5 of them at the ring for every match.
No.
Gotcha.
Jericho can't come out by himself. None of the House of Black doesn't come out alone,
Right. I like factions too. I kind of feel, I feel like as everybody kind of has friend groups. Like, I think that's natural. Sure. But I do understand what you're saying. Like, why must, especially the Jericho associate? I mean, that's like 8 people, like
right.
That's kind of a little bit overdoing, I would think. But I agree with that. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the upcoming shows.
I think a match that was missed last year for match of the year, I didn't see it listed, but in the Owen Hart tournament when it was Cash and Dax against each other, I thought that was an incredible match between those two guys. I mean, they were doing it good, and and it was very good. And I don't think people credit that match enough. I thought it was very, very good, and it showed how both guys really are what they are, top guys.
Oh man, yes they are.
Well,
you all were talking a little bit earlier just about how when you first saw Cash and Dax, and you were talking about how they remind you so much of Tully and Arn. One of the when they're heels, they don't do it as much now, but when they're heels, I loved how they would tag, but like, if Cash needed to run on the other side of the ring and pull the opponent down off the ring, if he needed to elbow them when he was running back, like they never missed a moment to interfere, whether it be nefarious means or not.
I need FTR to be heels.
Yeah.
But do you think
really watch Tully and Arn, the way they cheated was by deception with the referee. I mean, yes,
if they're baby faces, they got to sell their ass off.
Yeah.
They got to sell their ass off. And I don't buy the Gun Club putting heat on them. I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
I'm not into that either.
Not at this phase. I don't buy the Young Bucks putting heat on them. I mean,
but I think the audience is the one who turned them. You know what I mean? They haven't really done much different.
They could keep on wrestling dirty. They could be dirty heels getting cheered like the Road Warriors.
Yes.
Yeah, well, no, I agree. I mean, I think they're going to get cheered regardless of what they do. I think people, but I love those little, like you said, those little nuances, things that they would do, like you said, distracting the ref and the guys leaning in, the good guys leaning in the ropes, and Cash will just, elbow or whatever, and just never missing an opportunity. Because again, they act like they're trying to win, and that's what you do, when you're trying to win a match. And that's another thing that going just real quickly back to Charlotte and Rhea, I loved how they acted like they were trying to pin. They were not trying to do their spots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They wanted to win. There were times when, they kick out, they go right back to it. Like, again, they're wanting to win this match.
They told the story that Rhea was trying to get her finisher in. Charlotte was trying to get that figure 8 on.
Yes. Right. Yes. And
there was a sense of urgency to get to the ropes to break those holds when they were inevitable.
And then again, it was one of the favorite matches of the night, again, because of that. So
I don't like intergender wrestling, but I would like to see, I'd like to see Charlotte Flair wrestle. I think Charlotte and Rhea could wrestle, guys.
Definitely.
And I don't think
if they did it right, like they did with China.
I could see Charlotte and Dominic wrestling, but I'd like to see Charlotte and Orton wrestle when he comes back. I'd like to see Charlotte and Austin Theory. She don't have to win, y'all.
Right.
Why was it okay for China 25 years ago to wrestle men, but Rhea and Charlotte can't?
I think it was because of how she was portrayed. versus, Charlotte's Rhea's that kind of a badass, but I don't think that Charlotte's put that way, which is,
but she's
from things I've read,
she's arguably one of the
Charlotte's
best
pretty tough.
wrestlers in the world, man or
Right.
woman.
Yeah, Charlotte's awesome.
Well, and I think too, with going to China, she literally had no competition in the women's division.
Yeah.
I mean, the best was Ivory, probably. I mean, as a wrestler. When you look at the current roster, Charlotte and Rhea can legitimately wrestle other women in the division and have fantastic matches. They could probably have a good match with Austin Theory or different people like that, but China had to. I mean, like I said, her and Tori Wilson weren't going to be tearing down the house.
No.
But that Charlotte and Rhea match, I could watch that every pay-per-view. Or I could even watch Charlotte and Asuka. I could watch, Becky and Asha. I mean, like there's so many kind of maybe.
Well, now I want to see Rhea and Becky.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'd like to see Rhea and Bailey. Unfortunately, I think Bailey's leaving.
Yeah, I think so too. Going back to the tag team thing. If you, can't remember how long ago it was, but I think it was FTR. They made it a point to hold the tag rope to show it. Because I think it was them because they said we're tag team wrestlers.
Oh, I had to explain to my grandkids what the tag ropes were the last time we went to the WWE show. Because the rope was the referee went down there and did and brought the rope down out. They had, I guess they keep it put up, and the referee came and put the ropes down. And my grandkid says, "Papa, what are those ropes for?" And I had to explain to him that tag teams are supposed to hold on to those ropes.
Yes.
But Russ, we can't thank you enough for coming in tonight.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Please come back again because
I do. Yes.
You're a fascinating dude. Amy'd love to get to know more about you.
Definitely.
Fascinating dude.
Okay.
First, I got to know, what do you do at the hospital generically?
I tried to say it with a straight face.
What are you? I'm sorry. What did you say?
Actually, I'm a tech on a cardiac floor, and I'm also in nursing school.
Cool. Oh, you're in nursing school? That's awesome.
Yes.
I love it. See, that's fun to learn.
Oh yeah, it's a lot when you're, and my father just passed beginning of last month, so I had to miss out, and I missed some school, and I had to go down and help with that. And
what made you decide to go back? I mean, obviously you're not out of high school, so there's some years in between. So what made you want to go into nursing school now?
Sponge Bath Jones. He wants to give a sponge bath.
I couldn't wait. Dave's getting up there in years, so I'm like, somebody's got to take care of his butt. Once he's done, Stephanie's going to sell all those belts, and she's out. So he's just going to take
Russ back on. We'll have Russ back on, and we'll really do a deep dive into wrestling belts.
Yes,
and the wrestling hobby.
Dave collects. He collects ring used underwear.
I know. So, I've seen it. He says he didn't put it on, but no one really.
He tried that on.
I really didn't.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious. I didn't. I thought about it, and I was like,
There's not a viewer or any of us in this room that believes that. So there you go.
Well, you've seen. I would have posted pictures of it. I'm not ashamed.
I know you would have.
I'm not ashamed. When I tell you I didn't do it, I didn't do it. I just didn't.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And now they're behind glass, so I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I thank you guys again for having me on. It was fun. Good time. Got to show that's the first time we've shown the 6-man belts like in public.
Well, it has.
Yes, you have to get the other partner on so we can see them all together.
We'll we're all three of them. We can get them on and we'll talk about the days of. I mean, we're all intertwined, but it's a fun story about how our friendship has evolved. The three of us.
Oh yeah.
Well, definitely. We need to explore that.
Mike Page is responsible for me being in wrestling. So we'll get everybody on. It'll be a fun time.
Yes, we definitely need to explore that.
So and we hate that Justin wasn't here tonight, but Justin had a game. He's a referee. So join us again next week. We'll be back same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks again to my brother Russ Miller.
Oh Lord,
That's where it's at though, Daddy.
Oh my gosh,
that's on that little shoulder. That's a big ass arm right there.
I got shot in the head and lived.
Whatever.
Please tell me the other guy has
Nate.
the Flash or somebody else, right?
He always uses that. I got shot in the head and lived, and so he carries that forward forever.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Beat a
Shot in the
crackhead
head and
with a
lived. Counted Ric Flair's last match. Those are my two things now.
There you go. Hey, can't beat that.
For Amy Vaughn, Justin Davis, Russ Miller, thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
I'm
guys.
Pondwater Dave, and we are out.
Bye-bye.
FTR tonight, baby. FTR.
Woo!